Hi Aries, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to my channel, The Fool's Journey Tarot. You are watching a general love reading for the sign of Aries for the mid part of October. Carmilla's here. She's hanging out with me today. She's been a very good bird so far. She has not bitten my ear. She's been very kind of mellow and quiet and calm, which is nice for a change. So she's hanging out. So Aries, I want to remind all of my viewers, returning and new, this is a general love reading, and that means that it can apply to any kind of relationship, situation, or circumstance that you're dealing with. Basically, if you can think of it, it might apply. Just about anything can come up in a reading. I also want to remind you to be flexible with the energy. You can mix and match the roles within the reading. In other words, you can be represented by any of the characters that shows up in the cards. Excuse me, parts of the reading may resonate for you, other parts may not. You might feel like I'm reading for you. You might feel like you're cross-watching for somebody else. So my intention is always to reach those that need this message and will benefit from it. I hope you enjoy the reading, Aries. I hope you get something beneficial out of it. I hope you feel like it's worth your time. Okay, Aries, so we're going to go ahead and get started here after a couple more shuffles. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to read for you. I hope the reading resonates, and I hope you stick around. For those of you who have returned for more of my videos, I really appreciate you viewing my videos and those thumbs up and the comments and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. So thank you so much. So let's go ahead and get started. Enough jibber jabber, right, Aries? Let's get started and see what we've got for Aries. We're going to start off with the Five of Cups paired with the Eight of Cups. King of Cups in reverse. Ten of Wands in reverse. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Seven of Wands in reverse. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And then we have the Tower in reverse. So I feel like you're dealing with some significant emotional disappointment, for sure, Aries. These two cards coming out, especially with the same character in these two cards, Five of Cups, Eight of Cups. He's wearing this hooded cloak, and he's obviously grieving something, right? And I just feel a lot of sadness. And I feel like there could be a lot of disappointment. Maybe even a sense of detachment. I feel like there's a sense of kind of being quiet about something. You might not be talking about this a lot to other people. There's a sense of frustration with something that maybe you didn't expect or maybe occurred unexpectedly, and I just get the sense of disappointment. Feeling like you want to give up. Don't want to deal with the hard emotional parts of life anymore. I get the sense of just feeling like you can't do it. So this King of Cups in reverse could be your energy, Aries, but I want to remind you, this could be somebody that you are dealing with, linked with, connected to, you have a relationship with. So if the reading doesn't resonate for you, it could be something that's going on around you or with somebody that you know or are connected to. But with this King of Cups coming out, there's a lot of grief and disappointment, but at the same time, there's kind of the sense of detachment. Like, instead of feeling hurt by all of this, I'm just going to emotionally detach myself. And I'm not going to feel the pain. I'm not going to acknowledge it. Let's get some more cards out for Aries. Kind of a heavy reading so far, Aries. I'm always tempted to restart these kind of readings because, you know, they seem to come around so frequently and they are difficult to get through. But, you know, there's probably somebody out there that needs to hear this message. So let's go ahead and push on and see what else we get. We've got the Hierophant. 7 of Swords. The 4 of Cups. Ace of Cups. King of Pentacles in reverse. The Ace of Wands in reverse. The 3 of Swords in reverse. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Well, this set didn't get any better, Aries. I hate to say it. So I feel like you might be kind of walking away from something that feels like it feels like you're walking away from something that feels deceptive, or you feel like you were wronged, or I just feel a lot of disappointment and hurt. Maybe disappointment regarding a specific connection or relationship. But I feel like this, whatever occurred, kind of almost wounded you emotionally to the point where it's affected you on a much deeper level. And I feel like part of it is because it might feel like to you that someone got away with something. Or something that felt wrong to you, where you feel like you were inflicted with some kind of pain or hurt, wrongdoing. It feels like with the Hierophant coming out here, for some reason, others might be perceiving it as having been the right thing to do, or maybe the situation was justified, or maybe it was the only thing that could have happened. To me, there's a sense of trying to escape some kind of emotional pain due to some kind of deception or wrongdoing. But there might be people out there viewing this as a situation that was justified. I don't know how else to explain that. That's what I've got off of those 4 cards up there. So we have a King of Pentacles in reverse on the table. I feel like this is the same person. This King of Cups, King of Pentacles. So there's a lot of emotional detachment. There's also the sense of somebody who typically would be a very reliable, loyal, compassionate, trustworthy, dependable individual. Somebody that you really, you receive a lot in return, having a relationship with a King of Pentacles. Somebody who's really willing to put a lot of energy and time and effort into connections, into work, into whatever he sets his mind to. Is just a very solid, dependable, loyal, good person. I'm sure you saw her, she just cracked. It hit the floor. I'm very thankful I was leaning over a bit because she did her little bomb onto the floor. So I don't have to pay attention to it right now because I know I'm not going to step in it. So don't get grossed out, Aries. Anyway, he's in reverse. So I get the feeling like he's kind of the opposite of that. It's not about him kind of putting in effort into relationships. It's almost like he needs to put a little more effort into himself, or be concerned about himself rather than others. because whatever this is for this person, it feels very difficult. And I think this person, more than trying to deal with it, is trying to detach from it. There's something else that feels like he's had this person. I say he because there's two kings that came out, but I want to remind my female viewers, you can certainly embody this energy and ignore the gender of the card, okay? It feels like this person has something else attached to this disappointment, this emotional disappointment. There could have been an opportunity that was lost, maybe an investment or a job or some kind of creative endeavor or something that this king feels like he missed out on because of something else. I feel like this Ace of Pentacles is something else attached to this disappointment, this emotional disappointment. Something that he may have invested a significant amount of time into, effort, maybe money, maybe resources, but it feels like that's lost, or that's having to be given up or left behind because of something, because of this emotional disappointment. And I say emotional disappointment because I feel like this could be attached to a relationship or connection with somebody, or it could be for example, a goal that this king was moving toward and it became unattainable, or something occurred that kept him from moving forward with it. So it could be attached to an event or a thing or a job or a person. Whatever it is, it's causing some emotional grief for this person. Something that instead of dealing with it, he's trying to kind of push it aside. Maybe even ignore it. One of the cards flipped up. The Three of Wands flipped up. I don't know if that'll become significant in this reading. Keep that in mind as I put some more cards out here. Let me give this third deck one more good shuffle. That was not a good shuffle. Let's do one more. I am very particular about my shuffling. If it clumps, that's not a good shuffle. I used to be a card dealer in a casino, and so I've shuffled many, many decks in my life. I didn't do it for very long, but I did it long enough. Trust me, I did it long enough. We're getting another shuffle out of this because now I'm telling my story. Anyway, because of that, I am kind of particular about how I shuffle my cards. They gotta get really good and mixed up. Okay, so let's see what else we get. The Hanged Man. Temperance in reverse. Three of Swords again. Seven of Cups. Ace of Wands again, this time in the upright position with the same set of cards. Four of Wands. Eight of Wands. And then we have the Three of Cups in reverse. Okay, so this is a little bit of a confusing reading, Aries, but I'm going to push through and see what we get. For some reason, I get the sense with the Hangman coming out here with this Hierophant, and then we have Temperance in reverse up here as well with this Seven of Swords. It's almost like there's the sense that there's some emotional disappointment, but it almost feels like it was unavoidable, or the universe had something to do with it. In other words, there's some kind of maybe detour that you're having to take on your path, guided by spirit, that feels unfair. I guess that's the best way I can put it. because this feels like something that needed to happen, but it's extremely disappointing. It feels unfair. It feels like, you know, the world is against me. This can't be how things are supposed to be, because this feels so wrong. So why am I having to deal with this? Does that make sense, Aries? So we've got the Three of Swords out here. We've got the Three of Cups. Three of Swords is down here. So this could have to do with a connection or multiple connections. Could be a third party situation. It could feel like someone else was, and that's what it feels like with the Seven of Swords out here. Someone else was responsible for inflicting some kind of pain into this King of Cups, King of Pentacles life. Something occurred that feels like it was probably out of his control, or he didn't manifest this in his own life. In other words, it wasn't a mistake made by this king or something that he purposely did that caused this grief. It feels like it was done by somebody else. It couldn't have been helped. I think he knows this, and because he can't control or control the situation or make sense of why it happened, he's kind of detaching from it. Or becoming emotionally disconnected. Just kind of, I think it's more of a kind of self-defense, self-protection. I just can't stand it when she does that. Does her little flapping around and you're going to land on my head. Do you want to sit on your cage? Great idea. Okay. Let's get some more cards out here. Let me give this deck a couple more shuffles. So there are other people involved. This feels like it could be a group dynamic. It could be a workplace situation. It's possible that there needs to be or has been some communication with others regarding this situation and what was lost because of it. Because again, I get the sense with this Ace of Pentacles coming out that something was lost or thrown away or disregarded or unattainable, and it feels like it affected more than just this king. It could have affected a group of people. So this could be a workplace situation. There may be some expectation let me get some more cards out here. Let's see what else we get for Aries. We have the Two of Cups. There's the Ace of Pentacles again, clarifying the Seven of Swords. Knight of Swords. Magician in reverse. Wheel of Fortune. Justice. King of Swords in reverse. And then we have the Seven of Wands again in reverse. I'm telling you what, Aries, I can tell there's a very significant message here. I am having a hard time kind of pulling out the information, so I need to really look at these. But I do feel, here's this Ace of Pentacles that showed up again. It feels like something was taken from you, or that you had to give it up. Again, I'm getting the sense that you had to give something up because of somebody else's action or a third party's situation, and something was wrongfully taken from you, or something got away from you that shouldn't have. It feels unjust to me. At the same time, there's a sense of there's a reason behind this thing getting away from you, or this disappointment. There's something that slipped out of your hands. Again, it could be an opportunity, it could have been a relationship, but something got away from you, and for some reason it was the right thing. So I suppose this could be a situation, for example, Aries, where you're working towards some kind of goal, right? You're moving towards something in your life. Maybe it's something you've really hoped for a long period of time, or been working toward for a long time. Maybe you've invested money, resources, energy. Maybe you've been working with other people. Whatever this is, it feels like it's gotten away from you. But it's because of some kind of connection or relationship. So there's some kind of significant relationship tied to this disappointment. Like the timing wasn't right. But I can't get away from this feeling of betrayal or feeling wronged with the Seven of Swords, and then we have the Magician in reverse that came out. The Three of Swords. Like you were wronged. And I say you because I am reading for this king. And so far there is no other independent energy that showed up. Obviously there's other parties involved. We've got the Three of Swords, Three of Cups out here. So I feel like there's a group dynamic. Again, it could be a workplace situation, could be a family dynamic, or maybe a social circle, group of friends, something like that. But I feel like this king was wronged. So Aries, again, if you're not resonating as this king, you could be somebody else who's involved or knows about the situation and you're affected by it. This could be somebody significant that's tied to this reading that you are connected to in some way. Just remember to be, I did that again. Just remember to be flexible with the energy. Tarot readings don't necessarily always have to be directly tied to your personal energy. At least that's how it is when I do readings. And I'm pretty sure many other tarot readers will say the same thing. Okay, let's go ahead and get this last round out, Aries, and see if I can't get any more information for you. So we have an Empress in reverse. Ten of Wands again in reverse. The High Priestess. Three of Swords for the third time now. Again, in the upright. So it's once in the reverse down here, twice in the upright in this set of cards. There's the Hierophant again. Four of Swords, Ace of Wands again, and then the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so there is a relationship connected to this emotional disappointment. And that makes sense. I mean, I kind of felt that from the beginning, that this probably had something to do with a relationship, but then this Ace of Pentacles appeared, and it felt like, I do that all the time. It felt like, it feels like there's other people involved. It feels like something occurred where Aries feels wronged, or this king individual feels wronged. There's some deception, wrongdoing, something that wasn't it wasn't acknowledged for what it was. Whatever this deception was, it wasn't acknowledged for what it was. It may have just been swept under the rug, ignored, maybe outright, the lies and the deception just succeeded on behalf of whoever was responsible for this, and so that they got away with it. People believe them, that type of thing. But there's something about this where there was some kind of wrongdoing, and it's affected Aries, this king individual, emotionally, but it also caused something to something else was affected by it, and it's this Ace of Pentacles. But this Ace of Pentacles, whatever got away from this king, other people are also experiencing this loss. Now the Ace of Wands came out here 3 times, twice in the upright. I get the feeling that for some reason, this loss or this disappointment or whatever got away from you, you're going to have another shot at it. When the timing's right, or when things are stable, or when things are addressed, or where things are resolved, when things are resolved. Because whatever this was, whatever this deception was, where there's this loss that Aries is dealing with, it also affected a relationship. And due to the loss of this connection, or this lack of communication or disagreement, whatever that this is, and it's connected to this Empress individual. Whatever this relationship was, it's a significant relationship. And it's tied to this Ace of Pentacles. And it's tied to this deception. And it's coming back around eventually. There's something in the cards indicating that this had to happen. The timing wasn't right. Things were off. There was something off about this. And it feels wrong. It feels bad. But it was necessary. I keep getting that. Which is very confusing, if I'm being honest, Aries. Because I keep trying. I mean, this 7 of Swords feels really bad to me. It feels uncomfortable. 7 of Swords never feels good to me, but it feels, I can feel the disappointment and the almost disbelief. Like, how can somebody get away with this? Or why is this happening? This doesn't even make sense. This is not how things are supposed to go, especially when I'm crossing all my T's, dotting all my I's. I am taking the high road. I'm treating people with respect. I'm doing the right thing. And then this happens. And it's like the rug has been pulled out from under your feet. But for some reason, the Hierophant coming out here twice, this Wheel of Fortune, It's almost like Spirit is saying, and then we have the Hangman out here, and we have Justice, all in the upright. It's almost like Spirit is saying, just relax. It'll be okay. It feels really harsh, but you're going to have another shot at this, whatever this is. Ace of Wands, Four of Wands. And again, it feels like it could be tied to a connection, long-term goal. All of the above could be tied to some kind of business opportunity, creative endeavor, something having to do with the home, the family, possibly a marriage. With the Hierophant out here, it could be, you know, it could have something to do with a contract, a business deal. But again, there's a specific and very significant relationship tied to this, and it is affected in addition to whatever this opportunity, which has temporarily been lost, but it's not lost forever. So, I mean, that ultimately, Aries, even though I'm sitting here trying to pull out the message behind the Seven of Swords, because that's what has me most intrigued, and I don't feel like I'm getting any more information about it. I think the cards are basically trying to say this feels like you've been manipulated. It feels hard. It's crushing to the soul and to the heart. It feels wrong. It feels bad. But for some reason, it's necessary. I don't know what else to say about that. That's what I've got. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I'm resistant to that message for some reason. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I also want to say that whatever this Ace of Pentacles is, whatever's been temporarily lost, and now I have to say it's definitely been temporarily lost, because I feel like it's going to come back, whatever that means. It's been a disappointment to others as well. This is not just Aries feeling bad about the situation. There are others tied to this disappointment, so it's affecting a lot of people. And so it might be necessary to have some communication, Aries, in order to get things moving again in the right direction, to have another opportunity at this. I don't know what this is. See, it feels like I never really, and I guess it's going to be different for everybody, but I feel like with the Eight of Wands coming out here, it might be necessary to have some communication to get the ball rolling again, so that you can have some healing, or you know, talk to others about this, maybe gain some clarity, maybe try to understand why this occurred. Oh, crap. Okay, a card just dropped on the floor, and I almost never drop cards on the floor. So if it's one card, I'm going to take this card that dropped on the floor, facing whatever direction it's facing when I pick it up. So give me a second here to pick this up. And it's the Scribe. Scribe in reverse. I'm moving really slow because my hips are hurting. I did some weird, I don't know if I was sitting wrong or what the hell I was doing. Anyway, I'm sore. Long story short. So I'm moving around like I'm a slug. Anyway, we have the Scribe in reverse that fell onto the floor. This is going to sound like legal advice. If I'm remembering this card correctly, the Scribe in reverse is the Knight of Swords, which did come out in the reading. It's the 12 of air. And if it's in reverse, it's a potential blockage. So this might end up feeling a little bit like legal advice to you, but we'll see what it says. I'm having trouble remembering the exact details of the card, which doesn't matter because I'm going to read it out of the book anyway. Because the Scribe is a record keeper, it says. Keeper of all knowledge. Okay, so potential blockage is just about a third of a page, very short. I will display the card in the upright for you, Aries. Here we go. The Scribe reversed symbolizes a need to keep your cards close and what you know to yourself. There is a chance that someone around you is only interested in harvesting your knowledge on a particular subject so that they can use the information that you have in order to better themselves. If it were a sharing of knowledge, it would be an opportunity for a great mutual exchange and meeting of the minds. However, when the scribe appears reversed, this is most likely not the case. It also signifies a need for you to censor yourself. Even if there is no specific person seeking to benefit personally from your knowledge, you might be giving out too much personal information about yourself and be placing yourself at risk of someone taking advantage of the knowledge you share. Protect your personal and private information. It is far too easy for others to take advantage if you give them the means to do so without considering the risk and consequences. Okay. So I just got done talking to you and saying, you know, communicate with other people who might be experiencing the same disappointment that you are. But maybe this, I can't pick up these cards. Maybe this card is indicating that that's not such a wise idea. Or maybe there is a reason behind this king kind of keeping to himself. Emotionally detaching. I think this also obviously could indicate that, you know, you're going to communicate with somebody. You know, there's somebody out there you can trust. Just be careful who you're sharing information with. If this is some kind of disappointment, maybe there's a legal issue involved. Of course, we did have justice that came out here. So there could be some kind of legal situation going on here. But based on the cards that I'm seeing, Aries, as disappointing as this feels to me, it also feels like there's a lot of hope here. The star did not show up. I mean, the hope is not in the form of this feel-good, don't worry, you know, around the corner the stars are going to shine and the sun's going to be bright and, you know, all this. Fairy tale ending. It doesn't feel like that at all. But I do get a sense that you're going to have another shot at this, whatever it is. And that somehow Spirit's trying to tell you, we know this is disappointing, we know this feels uncomfortable, we know this feels wrong, but at least right now, this is the way it has to be. So it feels like there's something in the works, there's something going on behind the scenes, or there's something else where things are transpiring, it just doesn't feel comfortable right now. Okay, Aries, before I continue rambling on, because I think I could go on forever with this reading, trying to figure it out. I hope that the reading made sense. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped more than anything, because I do feel like whoever might be watching this and needing this message does feel like they could need some help and some advice. I wish you all the best in this situation. I really hope that this was helpful to you in some way. Thank you so much for watching. If it did resonate, please like, share, subscribe. If you feel like sharing your story, I'd be interested to see how this applies to you if the reading did resonate. So thanks so much again for watching, and I will see you next time, Aries. Bye.